Concerns are raised about the quality and substance of the country's education following the release of the 2016 matric results. Hip-hop artist Jub Jub is out on parole after 4 years behind bars. Hello and welcome to eNews Direct. I'm Shahan Ramkisu.
And I'm Sandy Legangose. Good evening.
To comment on our stories, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook at eNews Direct.
And this evening, our hashtags are Matric Results 2016 and Jub Jub.
This is our top story. The class of 2016 might have improved the matric pass rate, but questions are still being raised about the quality of South Africa's education. Experts say while the exams are important for the fate of pupils, they are not a good indicator of wider success or failure.
Just because a pupil passed their matric exams doesn't mean they have an in-depth knowledge of the coursework.
We don't learn much about the quality of the system looking at matric results. You know, I was a teacher many years ago myself, taught matrics, and I know how it is possible to prepare students very well for exam taking. And often the final results show that one is very good at exam taking. It does not necessarily reflect depth of understanding.
For example, the number of people getting above 30% for mathematics has risen to 51%. But just 34% get above 40% for the subject, and the numbers steadily decline from there. Over the last few years, government has introduced a teaching system that is more prescriptive on what people should learn leading up to the matric exams.
The one issue that many teachers raise is that in some subjects, the CAPS curriculum is very full. And I think that is detrimental to getting real deep understanding.
A poor grasp of the work in the early schooling years often leads to pupils being pushed to the next grade even when they fail. Experts say keeping a pupil back doesn't mean they'll improve their marks. But progressing pupils is a controversial issue, and many see it as a sign of weakness in the education system.
Let us ask ourselves a simple question. Does then that speak to the quality of the education system and the support that these learners deserve? Why are these learners 3 years behind? It is because of the grade 1, 2 and 3 classes that they attended.
Some progressed learners are now being allowed to write matric over 2 years. Experts say this is not necessarily a bad thing, but South Africa needs to think about what the country wants a matric pass to symbolize. Teresa Taylor, Johannesburg.
Howtheng is celebrating its top matriculants. The province achieved an 85% pass rate. The Education Department says it's a sign that improvements to its system are working. About 112,000 pupils wrote the National Senior Certificate and 88,000 made it through.
This is Howtheng's top achiever.
95% average. I won the Matric Award for 2016.
And this young man got 100% for mathematics and physical science.
It was true consistency, studying very hard, and then I had to attend different classes because when attending different teachers, you get different methods of understanding things.
32 out of Howtheng's over 900 schools achieved a 100% pass rate.
A no-fee school in Tshepisong has just achieved 100% pass rate. Not only just a quantity in terms of pass rate, 54% of their learners achieved bachelor passes and 35% of their learners achieved diploma passes.
Last year, the province had over 11,000 progressed matric pupils. These are grade 11 students promoted to grade 12. 61% of them have passed.
We will achieve the goal of 90% matric pass rate by 2019 as Gauteng province. We will achieve it with progressed learners. This we must say. We are not going to leave out these young people in order to achieve that 90%.
The Howtheng government says it will spend 520 million rand to assist matriculants with their tertiary education in the 2016-2017 financial year. And those who did not make it will be enrolled in the Second Chance program to help them achieve their national senior certificate. Malungi Lupoi, Davidson.
Matriculants from Vuwani in Limpopo have defied the odds despite classes being cancelled for weeks during violent protests. Late last year, the Vuronga circuit has emerged as the top performing area in the province. As several pupils say their final marks have exceeded their expectations.
The wait is finally over. These Vuwani pupils wrote their final matric exams against all odds. Just a few months ago, their futures looked bleak. More than 20 schools here were destroyed during violent protests. For more than 2 months, protesters shut down the town over a municipal demarcation issue. This is what Nirini Sidimela School looked like when protesters were done with it. Undeterred, pupils studied in makeshift classes. The sacrifice was worth it. Sidimela has obtained 6 distinctions.
Everything that has happened, we came to learn that no matter what we go through in life, nothing can stop us from reaching where we want to get.
Her dream to build a better life for her family kept her going.
I want to make my mother very happy. I want to build her the best house ever and make her life very easy because she's struggling a lot. I'm planning to go to Medusa and study medicine.
Her mother, who supports the family by selling sweets and food at Sidimela School, is thrilled. Her child will be the first in the family to attend university.
Mara chululu ndichitutuwedzelo rimini ndichimubuzo ri ene khavali bugu asongofana na nne ndotoraliwo ende nezwi ndotorali atiyaguri nene machelo awe usibe awudi zwe ndatangana nazo atinyaguri ene atangane nazo.
But for one family, the day was filled with sadness. Instead of celebrating the results of their son, they're preparing for his burial. 18-year-old Chanduko Mutswana was shot on the 31st of December. Mutswana's sister says he was working towards his dream of being a construction engineer.
Today, when I get this certificate, I thought maybe I could call him and come and say, you got a distinction and what with maths and everything. I thought I could call him, but it wasn't possible.
Edison Nesengani Secondary School is one of Vuwani's greatest achievers. The school can boast a 100% pass rate. The Limpopo Education Department says it's testimony to hard work. Those who do not make it from the area say they are disappointed. Some say they'll try again to achieve their national senior certificate. Zikhona Chona, Vuwani in Limpopo.
Mulema Jub Jub Marohanya will enjoy the comfort of his home tonight. He's been released on parole after spending 4 years in prison for culpable homicide.
Many knew Jub Jub for this hit. That's until tragedy struck in 2010. He and his friend Temba Chabalala killed 4 school children while drag racing on a public road in Soweto. They were both under the influence of drugs. The former child star and his co-accused were convicted of culpable homicide in December 2012. Correctional services didn't provide details of the parole conditions.
Once a person has been placed on parole, it doesn't mean it's the end of a sentence. If you're given an 8-year sentence, you will have to serve that sentence in full. The only difference is that you are now serving it under the care of community corrections, meaning you are out in the public. Then our community corrections then will have to monitor or supervise, meaning they will have to know of your whereabouts, the programs that you are involved in. Hence, then, and this is part and parcel of the conditions, which then that they have to sign for.
Jub Jub's lawyer says he did not get special treatment in his bid for parole.
I think that important in this present instance was a victim-offender dialogue in terms of which The offenders met with the families of the deceased and those affected, or some of the families of those affected by this tragedy, and that was a very important process in the context of this particular case. The families did not oppose the application for parole ultimately.
The Justice Project South Africa says Jub Jub's release on parole will have unintended consequences.
This early release on parole does send an unfortunate message with respect to road safety, in particular with respect to the huge risks that people run every single day when they drive under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
Marohanye has his legal aid lawyer to thank for overturning his murder conviction, leading to a reduced sentence.
Escom will be allowed to cut power to 7 municipalities if they fail to pay outstanding debt. The North Howtheng High Court has dismissed a case brought by civil rights organizations AfriForum and AfriBusiness to interdict the power utility. Escom had threatened to cut electricity to the defaulting municipalities during certain times from today, but yesterday agreed to delay the process until January 16th to give them more time to make the payments. Escom has been struggling with rising municipal debt. The court found the power utility does not have an obligation to supply electricity to ratepayers. That obligation, it says, lies with municipalities. Today's ruling applies to 7 municipalities in the Free State. Further afield now, a new study published in the Lancet Medical Journal claims people who live near major roads have a higher risk of developing dementia. Researchers believe air pollution or noisy traffic could contribute to the brain's decline. They followed nearly 2 million people in Canada over 11 years.
Time now for your social media with Shahan.
All right, thanks, Andelia. Social media users have reacted to Jub Jub's release from prison. Some say he should be forgiven because he has served time in jail. But others believe his release on parole is unfair and brings back painful memories to the families of the children who he killed. And fire damage in Somerset West is estimated at over 50 million rand. Several structures, including the well-known Bezweni Lodge, have been gutted. While the fires have also now been contained, firefighters remain on high alert. For more on these stories, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook at eNews Direct or go onto our website, eNCA.com/direct. After the break, it's your business and weather forecast. Welcome back. Business news now. Private sector growth improved in December, according to the latest Standard Bank Purchasing Managers Index. The survey shows that growth was driven by solid rises in output and new orders. Both grew at the quickest pace in nearly 2 years. Companies managed to increase staffing levels, but the rate of job creation eased since November. PMI now stands at 51.6 compared to 50.8 in November last year. Any reading above 50 indicates expansion in the sector. All right, let's see how the markets performed today.
Need instant cash? Take a look on the bright side. Get a Cash Converters Sunny Day Mini Loan from 400 to 4,000 Rand, only at Cash Converters.
It's been a cloudy, wet and cool day over the central parts on Thursday, and there's still a watch for heavy rainfall over the central and southeastern parts on Friday. We're expecting cooler weather and the possibility of showers in the south on Friday, with cloudy and wet weather moving in over the southern part of KwaZulu-Natal. We'll see a main band of widespread thunderstorms extending across the country, with a few isolated thundershowers in the surrounding areas. Thundershowers are forecast over the KwaZulu-Natal interior, with the possibility of rain along the coast. 26 for Pietermaritzburg. Pietermaritzburg and Durban, with cloudy and wet weather mainly over the southern part of the province, as well as the northeastern part of the Eastern Cape. You'll see thundershowers throughout the Eastern Cape, 24 degrees for East London, with some rain for Port Elizabeth at 23 degrees. Showers are forecast mainly over the southern and eastern part of the Western Cape, with isolated thundershowers for Beaufort West and Oudtshoorn at 28 degrees. Mostly sunny for Cape Town at 27. You'll see most of the rainfall over the eastern part of the Northern Cape with a dry forecast in the west. Isolated thundershowers are expected for Uppington at 35 degrees. Cloudy, wet and cool weather continues for the Free State with highs in the low 20s, with widespread thundershowers and showers and that watch for heavy rainfall. That also extends over the western part of the northwest, but with isolated thundershowers over the eastern part of the province. We'll see thundershowers moving in from the northwest on Friday night, possibly reaching Polokwane at 29 degrees, but with a dry day over the eastern and southern part of the province. Thundershowers could move in over the southeastern part of Mpumalanga on Friday. Overall, we're expecting a warm day here with a sizzling hot afternoon for Skukuza at 39. 28 degrees for Johannesburg, 31 for Pretoria, with a slight possibility of thundershowers for Howtheng. On Saturday, we're expecting light morning rainfall in the south with cloudy and wet weather over the eastern half of South Africa. It'll be a drier and warmer day in the west on Sunday, with those thunderstorms continuing in the east on Sunday, and you'll also see cloudy, wet and cooler weather in the northeast. That's all from the Weather Centre for now. Have a great night.
Brighten your day with a Cash Converters Sunny Day Mini Loan. Come in store and we'll put instant cash right in your pocket. Only at Cash Converters.
After the break, you might remember this young genius from KwaZulu-Natal. He's gone on to be one of this year's top matriculants in the province. One of KwaZulu-Natal's top-performing matriculants is also the youngest.
Yep, 15-year-old Kialin Pillay has achieved straight A's.
Person who has to do with atoms and
when we first met Kialin Pillay in 2011, it was clear the then 10-year-old had a bright future ahead of him. The Westville resident had just started high school after showing exceptional skill in his schoolwork. 6 years later, he's bagged 7 distinctions in his final exams.
It's quite special, you know, because obviously I compete with my fellow peers who are all 18 academically, and even I sometimes forget, you know, if someone beats me, if I beat someone, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's fine, but sometimes I have to take a step back and like realize even if I didn't come first or whatever, you know, I'm still 15, and that there in itself is a great achievement.
An A student throughout his high school career at Eden College, Pillay was awarded academic honours. But academia isn't Pillay's only forte. The talented teenager earned himself full colours for music and half for debating. So what is the key to his success?
Don't let the stress get better of you. There's been a few pockets of really stressful moments where I felt overwhelmed, and I think managing your stress and having a good support structure is absolutely key. Whether it be friends, family, or just a distant relative, it doesn't matter. I think you really need to find someone that you can even confide in or even cry to. I've cried a couple of times during this year when I felt like, you know, the work was really intense.
Pillay plans to take a well-earned gap year now to pursue his love for computer science. Judith Subin, Durban.
Marquette, here's a reminder of our top stories before we go. Concerns are raised about the quality and substance of the country's education following the release of the 2016 matric results. And that's a wrap from the eNews Direct team.
Yep, until tomorrow, take care.